Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu says Giyani residents can expect water to begin flowing from their taps before the year is out. He's in the area this morning assessing progress on this delayed bulk water project. Some households have started receiving water, others not so lucky. And Newzroom Africa's Nqobile Madlala joins me now from there. Nqobile, we saw the minister drinking, from the tap that was in somebody's yard. They don't have to walk anymore. Give us a status update on the other households, some of the neighbours there, and whether they have access to clean tap water as well.
Well, Iman, barely an hour ago when we saw the minister, of course, drinking that water from the tap, but I can confirm to you now that there is no water. In fact, I'm going to speak to a lady, and by the way, we're just by the house that he was drinking water, so this is the neighboring house, and I'm going to ask the lady to just open the tap for us so you can see. Mama, ayawu mama nzilap. Mama mangasuza usondele nje kancane. Ukasondela mama amanzi aqalene nokungaphumi lapha
ayasithama yahuma kusukela pipe leri ko
ngobani
ayasithama yahuma mati la pipe ayahuma.
Thank you very much. Well, the lady just explaining to us that there is no water where she is at, and it hasn't come out ever since. But it's a different story here because there was water. So you will see that there is a bucket that's currently here, and this bucket was going to be used to get some water. Just a moment ago, there was water in this tap. There isn't anymore. And this lady is from the community, of course, and in the community, they had water, and her household specifically didn't have water, so she came here to get some water, but there isn't anymore. Mama, kwenzakalani indaba ninganawo amanzi?
Ayahumi mati mfukati pipe leti vekeriwa isikuma mati hikaka makhelwane still na sweswi ayahumi ka makhelwane na pfulela ku hava mati ayakona. Mina ntshama next door akuna mati ifamba hikaya na mimiti leyi mati ahi makume ayakona mati.
Niqaleni mama ungabi nawo amanzi?
Since ku vekeriwa tipipe leti ku tshama ku huma mati. Yeah.
Manje nwakha kanjani amanzi mama?
Ifamba ya kule makuma mitini kun'wanyana va kwata loko hi nghena hi ka mati a hi swi tivi ku sweswi hi ta makuma njhani ene kwini ha hlupheka hi mati lama.
Nifuna kwenzakaleni, nifuna ukuthini kuminister?
Hina hi lava mati ka minister a hi lavi xin'wana a endli matimba ku hi kuma mati.
Well, briefly, Iman, the lady just explaining to us that they struggle with source of water. There isn't none in this tap, and she was, of course, coming to get some water. And again, it's barely an hour after the minister has left, and there's still no water here. And this family is just explaining that even though she lives just across and she comes to get water here, it's become a major issue because some areas here within the household here won't allow them to get some water. But unfortunately, even the ones that do allow them, when it does come out, there isn't much to go for. So I want to bring in a headsman in this area, and of course he's one of those people that listen to these problems and try to sort them out for the community at large. And Baba, we heard you speaking to the minister and you were highlighting this problem, and I remember you saying that you would even go back to him after June if the water's not sorted. How do you feel knowing that the same water you were talking about is gone now?
Nami ngiyamangala ngoba ngithi lamanzi lawo ekuseni nakuwabonile bekaphuma lapha kwamanje ukuthi why kwenzeka nje angazi kodwa ngithi lapha ekuqaleni uyabona ku slope amanzi yaqala ngale yabuye phezulu yiyo lenkinga ngisuke ngibone ukuthi ilapho yazophinda abuye msho late kodwa into engimangazayo ngoba bathi since babeka lama pipe amanzi yabengekho mina la ngihlala khona yakhona kodwa indawonye. That's why yilo nkinga lesihlangabezana nayo la.
And manje uminister uzobe ekhuluma nabantu ntambama nizoye ukukhuluma naye njengoba engekho amanzi?
Sikhuluma nobani?
No minister uzobe ehlangene ne community at large lapho ezobe ekhuluma nayo nizoye ukukhuluma naye nimchazele le ndaba eqhubekayo la.
Uminister lobelana. Well, thina angithi sikhulume naye sesikuseni. Lento simtshele yona ekseni, well noma ngabuya manje sophinda simtshele yona. Ngobe asithembi lutho, angithi labantu laba kudala basithembisa ukuthi uzwenzekala lokhu nalokhu nalokhu nalokhu. Kwamanje bathi bozobuya lana bathi phambi kwe July lento leni izobilungile. asisathembi lutho vele ngishilo nesekuseni ukuthi angithembi lutho mina ngendlela abakhuluma ngakhona.
Kodwa uyakholwa ukuthi azoba khona manje?
Eish, angithembi sisi. Angithembi. Kutshela iqiniso angithembi ngoba kudala basithembisa ukuthi nini yozofika amanzi nini kathiwa kodwa amanzi asiwaboni. Angithembi ngitshela iqiniso. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, that gentleman just explaining to us, man, that they don't really believe in anything that's being said now, mainly because they've been promised a lot of times that they will get water, but it seems to be something that is not really happening. They know that the minister was here speaking. However, they told him exactly the same thing, that this promise is just never fulfilled. It keeps getting broken, and as a result they're left without water. So this community in Bambeni still doesn't have water, even though it had water just barely an hour ago.
I just really want to understand this, Nqobile. That tap that you opened for us now, was that the same tap that the minister had opened and drunk water out of, or was it another tap close by?
So, Iman, it's basically 80 meters away. So that family's household is just behind us. And I'm going to try and attempt and show you, Iman, as you can see. That's the family household where the minister was drinking water. And already we have been able to confirm from the family's house, whilst we stand here, that they already don't have water that side. So the neighbor had water when the minister was here, but no longer has water. And from where I'm standing, just in front of me, that house doesn't have water. So we're being told that there's a pipe that runs across that feeds all these community water, and it's not feeding accordingly. So even though there was water there, but as it goes across that area, the pressure drops and people end up without water. But also the community at large highlighted to us, and this is even before we spoke to the minister, that some of them didn't even have water, and for a long time they've lived on borehole water, and that's exactly where they're getting the water. When the minister spoke to us just a few meters away, he did highlight that there is currently a construction that's underway, and that they were feeding water from the borehole to try and provide for this community. But as we speak to you now, there isn't any water anymore, and even in that tap that he was drinking in, there isn't any.
Raises questions. I mean, was it coincidental? Was it for the photo op? What happened that there was water at that moment when the minister was there, and then not long after he's left, there's no water there and there's no water for the neighbors themselves? And it's part of the story, Nqobile, of being left without for so many years. Questions around, is there corruption? We're aware of the SIU investigation, of not being able to have that certainty that if a promise is made and if the work is undertaken, water will come from the taps. What are they saying? I mean, what is the neighbor saying about this curiosity that there's now no water, even, a short distance away from where there was a short time ago, and even from that tap itself?
Well, I think the headsman was just highlighting to us, Iman, that they've gone to a point where they actually don't believe that what they're being told will always persist or will happen. In fact, they are the same community, and he was the one speaking directly to the minister. He himself alluded to the minister saying that, I want to see you, when you say we are going to be provided water by June, I'd like to see you here coming to deliver water. He told the minister when we were there. And the minister said that he also did the same thing in Guatlemba in KZN, where he did in fact provide the community with water. But the community here has had to suffer. You will remember in the past they've had droughts. So that in itself had an impact in the way that they lived. And then there was this infrastructure, the Giyani project, that was then funded under Jacob Zuma, 90 million rand, to start this entire project where this communities and others, which is about 55 communities in total, were supposed to be provided water. But years later, they still haven't gotten water. We know that it was divided into two, where they were supposed to have 24 communities, which means part of this community where we are in, 24 of them were supposed to be given water before the financial year. But we are here, standing here with no water, and a little bit of it coming out, little bit of it gone again. So this community is still not stable, not so far away from where we are standing, we've got another community that has never seen a drop of water from the same infrastructure that we were showed for such a long time. According to the minister, he's saying to us, this takes a bit of time, so the project is between the communities, and of course what they're saying is that you've got an A and you've got a B, so an A will have water, B will be the next, and so on. But what we're seeing here is that in Bambeni there is no place with water, and this is mainly why the community and mainly the females were there, Iman, mainly because they are the mothers, they're the ones that have to cook, they're the ones that have to clean, they're the ones that have to do washing. In fact, we were acknowledging here, or the older women, that we're going to get water further down that side. And they were the ones that wanted to speak to the minister, and they're questioning minister, when will they see water? The executive mayor said the project is ongoing, they will provide bulk water, but this community still doesn't have water. So you can imagine the frustration, the misunderstanding that has gone for so long. The families here still want water, they are not provided water for. The older people here still have to go get water, and it's just so difficult for this community. They're frustrated, they want water, but it's not provided for them, and of course as a result they're at a point where they just don't believe what they're being told.
Nqobile, thank you so much, and I think it was so important for you and the team to be there today and to see, you know, the before, the during and the after. That sense of euphoria must have just worn off, you know, so quickly in thinking that you're going to have this now. You're going to be able to open your tap and have this beautiful, clean drinking water right in your backyard, on your doorstep, only for that to just go poof, evaporate, and everyone is gone. Some questions we have to follow up on, and some of our viewers are reacting to the story, Nqobile, around asking questions of who those contractors were, what happened to those contracts. We know the SIU has initiated an investigation as well. There's a lot under the surface here that does need clarity and answers, so we will leave you to your homework, Nqobile and the team, but thank you very much for being there and for bringing us the very latest in the field. This is a troubling story, and we certainly need to ask some more questions around this one.